Hello, FAWE Girls. You know, we are so proud of you always. You have taken a very hard path studying STEM, and you know that we admire your work and how effective you've been. And you said to me last year, please send us mentors, please send us women who we could relate to, who are cutting a path for us so we could see that women in STEM have a future. Well, today we have such a special guest, Zozi, who won the Miss Universe pageant, and she's the first Black South African woman to win. And she grew up in a small village just like you did, but yet she studied in a University of Technology, and she used her technology skills to go into marketing. And she's added so much to the Miss Universe platform with her talents. But one thing that she did was she had her authentic self at the Miss Universe pageant, which meant that she used her natural hair and looked even more beautiful. And we love that fact about her. I would be really remiss in not thanking Paula Shugart and the Miss Universe organization, who have been supporters of Same Sky since the very beginning of Same Sky. And they have lifted us up to new heights and made the world smaller because they believe in gender and that we're all under the same sky. So I want to thank the Miss Universe organization. I want to thank Tony always for setting this up. I want to thank each and every one of you by being an example and being a role model for so many girls around you, because what you've chosen to do isn't easy. But we admire you 7,000 miles away in New York and are so excited that you're going to have this time with Zozi. And Zozi, we couldn't be more grateful and excited about today. Thank you so much, Zozi. It's my pleasure to introduce you, and it's my honor. Thank you so much.
It's lovely to meet all of you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Your hair, is it like a part of the school uniform? Because I know my little sister goes to a school where they have to keep their hair short as well.
Yeah.
I knew it as I was like, okay, I recognize those hairstyles. Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
African beauty.
It's an girl, yes, it is African beauty. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're our school is FAWE Girls School. Rwanda.
Your school is?
FAWE Girls School.
FAWE Girls School. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Kigali, Rwanda.
What grades are you guys doing?
I'm grade 4. No. That's near 4. If it's grade, then that's grade 11.
So you guys don't do grades. How do you?
No.
Nice. How do you pronounce? So it's not grades, but it's
the forms, like form 1, form 2. Yeah.
So you're in form
4.
Form 4, which is grade 11.
Yes.
Girl, you're almost going to university, hey? Almost.
I hope so.
Are you excited for it?
Yeah.
Do you know where you want to go or what you want to do?
I don't know, because I took mathematics, chemistry, and biology.
Me too, in high school, but anyways.
Yeah. Me too. I'm in senior 5. We used to call them seniors.
So is that like grade 12?
Senior 5. Senior 5. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So you're going to university next year, hopefully.
Actually, no. For senior 5, it's a grade 11.
Okay.
And senior 6, it's grade 12.
It's grade 12. Okay.
Yeah. Almost to end up. So it's still a journey. So we had some things as in short questions for you.
Okay.
So, yes.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I think you've come to know us. So we already know you. We've researched a lot about you. Yeah. Yeah, we got to know there is an African VP who stands for girls and has a motivation or I think to accomplish in leadership skills for girls, young girls. And we really want to be inspired and really want to get something from you to take up the sky, as you already said in the last time you were interviewed.
Yes.
After your lectures. Yeah. Okay, my first question, I'll be the first person to ask. So I need to know what really inspired your dreams that makes you think that you're such thing as dreaming the impossible.
So many things are so inspirational to me. My family, for starters. I actually grew up in a family with so many women. I have 3 sisters, and then there's my mom. I have so many aunts. And I think just being around them gave me so much energy to believe so much in my dreams and to know that everything is possible. Also growing up in South Africa, I grew up in an environment that was full of, powerful women leaders. We had the likes of, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, wife to Tata Nelson Mandela. We had women of, the march in 1956 in South Africa, women like Helen Joseph, who marched, to the Union building to demand, rights for women, because women didn't have rights. They didn't have the right to vote. They didn't have rights to work. And so they decided in the year of 1956 that they were going to stand up and, fight for those rights for women, especially Black women. And so I think growing up around that and growing up around those people, they motivated me, to know that it's possible for me too, that I can be anything that I want to do. So I like to think of it as like, when you are running in a race and they have the torch or they have the baton in a relay, the first person runs, they give you the stick and you have to run a mile and give it to the next person. So whenever I look at that, I feel like they ran their race and they fought for me to be where I am today. And so they gave me the stick. And so I feel like, it's my responsibility to take it and run my mile and then hopefully pass it to, young girls like you. Hand over the stick to you so that you can hand it over to the next generation of women to continue, doing this amazing.
We assure you. Yeah.
Yes. So that's definitely where my motivation comes from.
Okay. I would like to ask you also if you would give your young self a piece of advice, what would you tell that person, or what would that be?
I think I would tell myself to be more confident, because I think there are times when I was not very confident in myself and my skills and my abilities, because I think as we grow up, you might have experienced it as well, where we have so much self-doubt and we don't believe in ourselves, because sometimes people tell us that we're not enough. Sometimes people tell us that we're not able to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish simply because of maybe where we come from, where we're born, our social status, our gender, our sexuality. People like to put a lot of barriers on us and they like to tell us who we are. And so I think if I would give advice to my younger self is to remind her that you know who you are, you know what you stand for. So, be more confident in that. Listen to yourself more than you listen to other people. The whole world is already fighting you. Don't fight yourself. Stand by yourself and reach out for your dreams and choose yourself. I always tell people, choose yourself. And selflessness is a beautiful thing, but sometimes we have to have a little bit of selfishness when it comes to ourselves and to choose ourselves. So remember to choose yourself.
Before others, yes.
Yes, sometimes, not all the time, but yes.
Definitely. And also the next question is like, what made you unique to win the Miss Universe 2019?
That's an interesting one, because when you enter the Miss Universe pageant, there's like almost 90 countries there. So that's 90 women. Yes. So it's a lot of women. So you really have to dig deep and find what it is that's truly unique about yourself. And I felt, for me, going into the competition, that I was needed in there. I felt that my voice was needed in there. And you guys said you did a whole lot of research, which means you probably saw my onstage questions, you know, when I spoke about leadership for women and young girls, when I spoke about, you know, when I spoke about racism, colorism, and beauty. Those are the things that I stand for. And I felt like those things would make me unique when I came into the competition. I don't know how far your research went, but I'm actually the first Miss Universe to win with my natural short Afro hair. Just
Yeah,
like
we really.
yes. So that has never happened before, which was, I think,
Really cute. That's really cute, though.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so I think it was so important for something like that to happen, because if we look at what beauty is, you hardly see, you know, women like myself and women like you know, in magazines or on TV celebrated for their skin or for their beautiful hair. And my message is that, you know, women are extremely beautiful. It doesn't matter where you're from, you know, whether you're Latina, whether you're Asian, Black, you know, African, it doesn't matter. Beauty comes in so many shapes, it comes in so many forms and sizes. And we should all embrace that for what it is. And so that's the message that I wanted to truly carry, to say, let's not look at one type of woman and say she's beautiful. Let's look at all the women in the world and appreciate them for who they are.
So is it, if possible, can record?
Yes, of course. What do you do? Of course you can. I think
are we permitted? Are we permitted the host?
I think it is recording.
Yeah. Yes, we're recording it.
Okay.
Do you girls have another question for me?
Yes, we have, but we are not permitted, like, to record.
You wanted to record with your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We can take a photo after. Do you guys want a photo when we're done?
Okay. Yeah,
maybe
sure.
we can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Joseph, can we make sure the girls get photos? Group photo?
Okay. So the next question.
Yes.
So did you ever experience criticism or discouragement for participating in Miss Universe competition? So if it is, how did you handle it?
Yes, I did. Oh my goodness. Okay, so before you go to Miss Universe, you have to win your national pageant first. So I had to win Miss South Africa first before going to win Miss Universe. And so the criticism really started coming in after I won Miss South Africa. You know, there were a lot of people who were against me going into the pageant with the hair that I have. You know, they would come in and be like, you should change your hair to look more like a woman or to look more like a girl, because your hair right now doesn't look like, you know, someone who should be entering a beauty pageant. There were comments, like a lot of colorist and racist comments as well from people who, you know, would be like, you're not Miss South Africa, you're like Black Miss South Africa. We don't want Black Miss South Africa at Miss Universe. You know, so many hurtful things that people were throwing at me. So definitely criticism came along the way. It was criticism of my beauty, criticism of my race, criticism of my body, like everything that you can imagine. But I think what got me through it was why I wanted to be Miss South Africa and Miss Universe in the first place. I had to constantly remind myself that this is why I want to be Miss Universe. I want to use this platform to continue inspiring and motivating women, to continue fighting for women's rights. And so I needed that platform where I could be able to do that, where I could reach out to women. And so I was like, if a few people are criticizing me, that's fine. I need to look at the bigger picture. I need to look at the goal, you know. So there's so many people who are going to criticize you in life. There's so many people who are going to tell you that you can't do something or you shouldn't do something. And it is your job to once again be there for yourself and to know that you know what your end goal is, you know what you want to achieve. So there's always a bigger goal and a bigger picture. And so for me, that was it. And also when the criticism came, I was like, actually, I'm going to use this criticism to change everything. Because if you think I'm not beautiful enough to be Miss Universe, or if you think I'm not smart enough, or if you think my body is not good enough, then maybe I should be Miss Universe so that you can know that my body is good enough, my face, my intelligence and everything. And so I always encourage, young women and girls to break the status quo. When you go out in the world, people are like, I came into the world and it was this way and we're going to leave it this way. It will never change. And my messaging is no, actually, it can change. If you go against what people say, if sometimes you break the rules, the world can change. And it's up to me and you to make sure that we are those rebels who continue to break the status quo, who continue to shatter glass ceilings and open doors so that other women can come in after us.
Oh, wow. I would also, first of all, congratulations that you made it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and what can you do in your capabilities to increase the number of women in leadership roles and bridge the gap of gender equality?
That's such an interesting one. I don't know if you guys know, but if you look at the stats right now, we are still literally at like 108 or odd years before, women and men can be equal, before we can bridge that gap. And so it's a very, very long way to go. I'm one of the people who find it unacceptable, people who are just unwilling to accept it. I don't think it should be happening, which is why I'm continuously every day using my voice and my platform to make sure that I'm championing, change and leadership of women. The first step towards change, I always tell people is awareness, is to speak up and speak out about things that I feel passionate about. There's so many social issues that are out there that need people to focus on. And so when you win a competition like Miss Universe and you get so many followers, you get so many people, like millions of people listening to you. And so that's how I've been using my platform as a tool to make sure that whenever people are listening, I am speaking about gender equality. I am speaking about, women's rights and making sure that we put women up there as much as we do men. And so that's a huge part of what I've been doing. So I've been doing, talks like this, chatting to young women, making sure that they know that they have it in them to be those women that we need in the future. I've been doing a lot of chats with panels like, the African Union, UN Women, so many organizations as well that have been, helping me, bringing me into their platforms to make sure that we have these conversations, because everything starts through conversation. And then hopefully from there we build and make sure that we get to this world that we need. I mean, having this right now and having you girls being able to push and try to get to university, organizations and foundations like this are ones that are making a difference, in the lives of young women and girls. And so I really hope that I'm doing my part and hoping to do as much as I can, for the rest of my life, to make sure that we champion young girls and women's rights.
Yeah, sure.
So on that question, it appears to be the same question as in what have you done so far in regards to girls and women empowerment and in controlling gender violence ever since you won the Miss Universe?
Yeah, I love that you said you just answered that question. Because it's basically everything that I just said now, doing work with these organizations to make sure that I'm using my voice, whether it's on a social media platform, whether it's on a panel that I've been invited to. It's just making sure that my voice is not shut down, that my voice is heard. Because, if it's one thing that I learned in 2020 is that our voices as a united people are so powerful. And I want to let you guys know as well that don't think that a Miss Universe and someone who has so much following is the only person who can make a change in the world. You can too. You don't have to, have the world stage or be Miss Universe to make a change. It starts at home. It starts at school. It starts with the friends that we have. What kind of conversations are they having? Are they having empowering conversations with women? Are they having problematic conversations? If they are you calling them out as your friends? Are you calling them out as your family? So whatever it is that you can do for your home, whatever it is that you can do for your community to make a change, that is enough. Because if you bring your contribution and you bring your contribution and I bring my contribution, when we put them together, they become something so much more, bigger. And so I think we should all have learned from last year that being silent about social issues is never a solution to the problem, but it's always a contribution to the problem. And so I hope that we take that away from today, to know that we have voices and that our voices matter and that we should always use them for good.
Yeah. I think there was this video after the elections that Oprah Winfrey congratulated you. How did you feel about that? Because she's among the world famous feminists, and I really, really follow her so much. So how did you feel?
It was amazing. It was amazing. There were so many women. I mean, we had Oprah Winfrey, we had Michelle Obama, we had Naomi Campbell, so many women just across the world from different industries who were congratulating. And it felt amazing. When you do what we do, you do it hoping that people are listening and that people will amplify your message. And so when someone like Oprah, retweets what you said, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see, because then you know that your message is going to reach so many more people and so many more platforms. So I've just been so grateful and humbled by all of it.
Wow. So as in, what the support you had from the starting?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What the support you had from the starting?
What was the support I had?
Yeah, from the starting.
Yeah, I had so much support from my family, my mom, my sisters, my dad. It's always nice to have those people who are backing you and who are in your corner. And I know that a lot of people don't have that. And so I'm super grateful that I was able to have that. And to those who don't have blood family that they were born with, who, is supportive of them, there are communities and networks out there that still support women and young girls' dreams, to find a mentor, find those people who inspire you, those people who you aspire to be like, who do amazing things. And it could be like leaders in your community, reach out to those women to, be those mentors for you, because believe it or not, women are always cheering for other women and they're always willing to be there and to listen and to help. And so if you reach out to those people, they too can become your support system.
So tell us about a time when you had to overcome peer pressure as a girl to do the right thing.
Ooh, my goodness. I know in high school, peer pressure is real. It's where it is. This is where you're at an age in your life where you're experiencing so many things and you have so many decisions and choices to make. If I were to think back to peer pressures, I am turning 28 this year in September, and I still do not drink alcohol. And it is so interesting to me. And this is not to say that people who drink alcohol it's not okay or you shouldn't, but I'm just telling you my story of, having been faced with, an opportunity to start drinking alcohol and to start, smoking and doing drugs. It's something that was very prevalent, in my country, that people were doing. And I think for me, I never wanted to get into it purely for peer pressure. If I ever do anything, it's because I want to do it. It's not because somebody else is asking me to do it. And so there were so many situations where, people will come to you and think, you think you're cool because you don't want to bunk school with us today. You think you're cool because you don't want to bunk school to come drink and to come smoke with us, stuff like that. And I think it was just always me knowing that I had a goal and I had dreams and like a future to become someone, important, or someone who had a huge role to play in the world in the future. And so I always had to think like that. And so that's how I want you guys to think when you find yourself in those situations. Think about where you want to go. Think about the kind of person that you want to be. Think about the contributions that you want to make, in the world. And when you finally become of age to be able to do those things, don't look back and say, Miss Universe told me to never, drink champagne. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we just need to learn to be, more responsible. And what I always say to, young girls is first things first. First things is such an important line. You are still going to experience all these things that you want to experience, but make sure that the first things come first. So your education, making sure that you get into university if you want to, making sure that you graduate, because life, I know we like to say life is short, but sometimes life is still long. Life comes after you graduate and you're able to experience and do all the other things that you want to do. But always remember that, first things first.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There was this time that I thought of, I saw lots of beautiful girls. There were 19 women. 19 women. Yeah. So what made you unique? What do you think made you so unique? Though you had the African beauty as everyone in Africa, but what made you unique? What do you think made you unique?
You know what? I like to say 90 women came and they all had a voice and they were all incredible and beautiful and had different things to offer. But I also, there's such a thing as timing. We have things like timing. We have things like luck on our side, and we have things like hard work. And when those things come together and the universe collides and wants these things to happen for you, it happens. So in as much as I had the uniqueness that I had, it had to be, my time and destiny for it to happen, which is such an important lesson to learn. And I'll tell you why, because that was not the first year that I tried to be Miss South Africa and to be Miss Universe. I'd done it before in 2017, but I didn't win Miss South Africa, didn't even make it to the finals, And so for me, when I think back to 2017, it's not because I wasn't enough. It's not because I wasn't special. It's just because it wasn't my time. And so I think what that should teach us is that life comes with so much failures, life comes with so much disappointments. We're not always going to get the things that we want to get. And things are not always going to happen when we want them to happen. But I think what we should take from that is every time we fall, we should think of failure as just like a setback and another opportunity to do something greater. So it's just a setback and to remind you that you need to work harder and, to remind you that the universe is always on your side. It's always conspiring for you to get to where you want to get. And so I think those are the things that made me win that year. It was the hard work that I put in. It was just the right time, for me to win at that time. So I think that's what made me, stand out. It's a combination of so many things.
Yeah, okay. As in, being a girl is the best gift we've ever given. So
Absolutely.
How do you visualize girls as women future? At the same time, what's your concern or your effort?
I see women as the future. Sorry, I truly do. I think we, like I said in my question and answer session, I think we are powerful beings. And if we were listened to enough, and if we got more opportunities, I think the world would be such an incredible place. Because when women thrive, economies thrive. So it's not just when you're empowering women, it's not just empowering one woman, it's actually empowering the nation, it's empowering the world. And so that's what I think about women. I think they haven't been given the chance to prove themselves. I mean, if you look at the world, there's not a lot of women presidents, not a lot of women leaders. And I'm saying put women there and see what happens. Let's see what happens when you put women at the forefront. Let's have that chance happen. And so I'm so happy to think of a future like that and to imagine a world where, women are equal to men. When it comes to concerns, there's so many concerns I have for women. I mean, if we look at statistics of gender-based violence, statistics of femicide, dying every day, getting murdered, they're getting raped, they're getting abused. And these are the things that we still have to deal with, especially when I look at South Africa, my own country. The statistics when it comes to, the abuse of women it's crazy. I read a statistic once that every 4 hours, a woman dies in South Africa. And yeah, it's really my biggest concern for women at the moment. And it's one of the things that I've been championing this year, to say, let's bring everyone into this conversation, because women are not the ones who are responsible for this. And so they shouldn't be the ones to try and fix it. It's not a woman problem. It is a humanity crisis. You know, both men and women need to come in. Our government needs to come in all over the world. World leaders truly need to sit down and see how they can change this fate, because it's not just for South Africa, but the rest of the world. It's not a woman issue. It's not political. It is a human rights crisis. And so, yeah, that's my biggest concern for women. And I hope that one day we can rectify the things that are happening right now.
Yeah. Okay, actually, for the first time when you were crowned to be the Miss Universe, you just said this short thing. As in, I needed to know, what did you want to mean when you say you need children to look at you and we see our faces in yours?
Oh man, I love that line so much. And I wish that it could be echoed through generations and time. Yes, I said I want, young girls and women to look at me and to see their faces reflected in mine. And that was before I won. And what I meant by that was, the minute I win that pageant, or the minute I walked into that stage, I wanted young girls like you to turn the television, to look at me and be like, I see myself in her. I see myself in her. And I wanted that because looking at you girls right now, sitting there with your school uniforms, it reminds me so much of myself and where I come from, because I come from a rural part of South Africa. I was born and bred in a village, grew up there, went to school there, went to a big city for university for the first time when I was 18 years old, And so when I think about it, my young self could have never imagined herself being a Miss Universe and being like on such a global stage and such a global platform when I look at the rural part of South Africa that I come from. So whenever I go home and young girls see me, they still don't believe that someone who comes from a place that they come from is now a Miss Universe. And so that's what I meant when I said I want them to see their faces reflected in mine. I want young women to look at me and be like, she did it. I can definitely do it too. And so that's what I meant that.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time. Though the questions were so stiff and so much, but we really appreciate your time. And you have really inspired us. And right now, your dream is coming true. We are trying to reflect our images to yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope so. I really hope so.
Well, this was wonderful, Zozi. Thank you so much. I know we want to try and get a picture so that everyone can have a copy. Joseph, can you join us?
Sure. All
Okay,
right. Girls, if you guys want to get around the camera, and that way I can get a picture of everybody next to Zozi on the screen.
I need to have my crown for this one. Paula, Esther.
With the crown.
It must.
Girls, if we can get as many girls in the picture as possible, that would be great. You guys want to stand up on the camera? That would be cool.
Awesome. Are you guys still at school this time? What time do you come out of school? Or did you stay for this chat?
We are, it's a boarding school.
Oh, so you stay at school?
Yeah.
My little sister goes to boarding school as well, and she's also in grade 11. So.
Oh, we are experts then.
Yes. So this is the crown.
Wow.
Wow.
Surprise. So I'm going to put that on for the photo. Isn't it pretty?
So pretty.
There we go. Ready for the photo.
All right, here we go.
I don't have a mirror to see how it looks, so I hope it looks good.
It really looks perfect.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Great. Let's do one more.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
So, girls, thank you so much for joining us and asking those wonderful questions. And Zozi, thank you for being such an amazing role model and inspiration to everyone.
Thank you.
You really are one of a kind. And the universe is so lucky to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who organized this, bringing us together into this space. When I, do the work that I do and say the messages that I say, I'm hoping that they get to someone. And so to be able to sit and see that they are actually doing something and, you guys went and researched and we're happy to, have this chat with me, it really touches my heart and I'm so happy. It makes me feel fulfilled. So thank you for putting this together and thanks to you girls for taking the time to come and have a chat with me. And I wish you the best of luck with your exams, with your school. And I hope that all of you are able to, get into university or, accomplish whatever dreams it is that you want to accomplish because you have it in you. You can definitely do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. I appreciate for your time. And we thank so much the whole organization that put us across you. And I think, somebody wants to say thank you to you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
I go by the names of Larissa Zigalizmongo.
Wow. Name. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce it.
No, it's simple. So I'm just here to extend my gratitude. I'm part of the Same Sky. So the kids that you people really help us. So I thought, why not? I really wanted to thank you very much. I extend my gratitude to you, Same Sky, to you, Miss Universe. We are really thrilled to have you. And please, we really thank you. We know you had a very busy schedule, but you managed to put us into it. I don't know how, but we really thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so touched.
You make us very proud.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we surely will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah,
We hope
thank
to
you
see you
so
soon.
much.
Bye-bye.